What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. In this one I'm going to be showing you how to install the Zeda Dio triple reed intake with the Fred head, basically stage 3 your motorized bike engine. And we're going to be doing a step-by-step how-to, so let's get started. I'll link everything in the description of the video for this install. In the last episode on this motorized bike engine, I windowed the piston, so that's where we're going to be starting in this video. Let's go ahead and install the piston back onto the rod. So first, let's get the rings back onto the piston. The rings on these engines are pretty easy to install. The most important thing is lining up the notches correctly as shown here. Keep the ring tight to the piston and slide them on and into the grooves. You just got to be careful not to pull them too far apart when you're twisting them onto the piston, where they're going to stretch, crack, or break. Now we can get a little bit of two-stroke oil back onto the rod bearing here, as well as the pin. So when you're taking off one of these pistons, you should only have to take one clip off. So let's go ahead and slide the pin through on that side. The pin clips are also fairly simple to install. I recommend sticking the open side into the groove and grabbing the center of the clip with needle nose pliers and installing with a twisting inward motion. Just double check that the clip is indeed in the groove before you move forward. Next, we can oil the inside of the new triple reed jug like so. Then slide our new base gasket over the piston and onto the engine case. To slide the new jug on, we want to be sure that both rings are in their grooves on the piston. First, work on the top ring, pinching it together while pushing down the jug, and repeating that for the bottom ring as well. After both rings are set in the jug, you can slide it down to the base gasket. Now these studs do have different threads on each end, a coarse side and a fine side. The fine side goes into the block. To tighten them, get the stud started, then put two nuts on the top end and tighten them together. This will allow you to turn the stud and get it tight into the block. You can repeat this for each of the 4 studs. The new Fred head washers are slightly bent. We want to install them with the rounded side upwards. It can be difficult to tell, so I put a line on the rounded sides and dropped them into the Fred head to assure that they are the correct direction. Now I'm ready to anneal the copper head gasket. All we got to do is throw it on the oven on high heat for 4 minutes, and you'll start to see the process taking action. Doing this is just going to soften the copper so that when we go ahead and torque down the head, it will compress together and get a perfect seal. So after the gasket cools down, we're going to spray each side of it with copper gasket sealer. Next, we can carefully slide the gasket over the studs. Since it's been annealed now, it is much softer and easier to bend. This is going to give us the good seal. So finally, it's time to cross tighten the head nuts. When we get them snug, I'm going to cross torque them at 15 foot-pounds. I've read that 15 foot-pounds is proper for these, but I'd still like to confirm it. And the new carb intake is a simple bolt-on, just don't forget the included gaskets. After everything is tight, I can slide the new carb on the rubber sleeve and snug down the hose clamp to finish up this brand new top end. So that is pretty much it, guys. There's just a couple more things that I have to do, like put the spark plug in. So on that, you'll just want to make sure you use anti-seize, and obviously don't over tighten that. But this was the old setup. I mean, check out how small everything is, especially the carburetor difference. This thing is just massive, and yeah, I really like the look of it. And another note, you may need to use multiple copper gaskets on this head. It's probably the most known thing to have problems sealing. That's why we went through all the trouble putting that on the oven and using that copper gasket sealer. And this is my exhaust pipe. I'm going to be holding off on installing that in this video because I'm not sure what this engine's going to go in. So if I go ahead and tighten that down, I might have to take it off to fit it into some kind of frame. So that is it though, guys. This is a sweet setup. It's not that hard to install at all. It takes a lot extra time filming it for you guys, but I wanted to get that how-to out there. I didn't really see one on YouTube. So Fred head, Zeda Dio, triple reed setup, big massive carburetor. This is going to be a sweet engine. So on that note, I did have this engine, if you guys remember, on the free motorized bike build that I did. And as much as I want to just throw it back into that, I'm starting to think otherwise. I mean, at this point I've dumped a little bit of money into this engine, and I mean, that was already overpowering that bike as is, and obviously it was just a scrap put together bike, so not necessarily the most beefiest setup. And I mean, this is a sweet engine. It's got the pull starter now too, so like I could throw it in anything, and you don't see these things in anything other than bikes too often. So I'm trying to think of every option I could do with it, you know, maybe put it in something with 4 wheels, something else, but I'm still up in the air. But I'm glad I have it set up and I don't have these parts just laying around anymore. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.